Hey bowlers, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be jumping into the Storm Supernova here. I know I'm a little behind the 8 ball with the Supernova, however, I finally got a chance to get back around to the ball reviews. So today we are going to be looking at the Storm Supernova and comparing it up to the Storm Proton Physics. Before we do, obviously, got to go through the comment, subscribe, and hit that bell notification to make sure that you know when I post all my videos. Subscription is going along really great now. We're at over 1,000 subscribers, 1,020 at the time of making this video. And actually, I have a little collaboration here today with my best friend Ben. The intro that you guys are going to see here was created by my best friend Ben. He said he would do that once I hit 1,000 subscribers. I did, and he created me a really great intro. So if you do like the intro that Ben created for me, you guys can let me know down in the comments down below. And also, if you do like it and want to see more collaboration with me and Ben, make sure you let me know and him know down in the comments down below so that we can get you guys some great videos and great content here coming out. So the other thing with that subscribe, and comment is 80% of you guys that watch my videos are not subscribed to my channel. So again, if you could do me a solid, hit that subscription button down below. It's completely free. All you got to be is signed up for YouTube with an account, and then you'll be subscribed and you'll be able to see all of my videos. Now, kind of some breaking news here. This came throughout the grapevine. It started becoming a big story over the weekend. Is I Am Bowling. They are now one of the exclusive apparel companies of the PBA. So that means that when I do kind of my regional stops and hopefully a national tournament or two, that I can actually wear my I Am Bowling jerseys that used to be just exclusive with another company, and now they opened it up to like 5 or 6 different companies. So that really is great. So I Am Bowling is now an official PBA apparel company. You can order your I Am Bowling or Logo Infusion apparel. You can use my promo code that's going to be down here. It's going to be FIRO07. You can save yourself 20% off of apparel at checkout. I mention apparel because I Am Bowling is actually selling bowling balls now as well. So you can check that out at iambowling.com. Check out the newest jerseys that they have as well as the bowling balls that they are selling. Now, with that being said, all my shoutouts have been concluded. I know this is kind of a lengthy intro, but we can finally dive into the Storm Supernova. The layout for that is 60 by 5 by 30. It's going to be the same as that Night Road. And the pattern that I am going to be bowling on is a 41-foot typical house shot. This is our common league pattern that we use here at Anchor Lanes. So, again, sorry, long-winded. I think that's all I got, though. Let's roll into this really awesome intro that Ben made for me, and we'll see you guys after the intro. Let us dive into this Storm Supernova. First of all, fragrance, fruit pop, smells very good. Next of all, we'll dive into the core here. So this is the ignition core that is inside of this Supernova. Obviously, it was used with the Nova. That was the first time it was ever used stateside. However, this is the 9th time that this core has ever been used. Again, like I said, 2nd time stateside. First was the Nova. The Gates were a very popular series overseas, and that was what this core was in first. This is the 9th strongest core that Storm has ever made. Now the surface is the NEX cover. This is the 6th time that this cover has been used. First time this cover was used was with the Storm Axiom. This is the 4th time it's been used stateside, and this is the strongest cover that Storm has to offer. Now this ball comes out of box at 2000 finish, has an RG of 249, differential of 052, and a PSA of 0.019. This core, the PSA stands for basically how much asymmetry is inside of the core. Now this is a little bigger core than some of the other pieces like the Physics and the RST series, And it's even actually a little bit more asymmetry than the gems, which actually kind of surprised me and the reality. So this ball does equate to a lot of flare when you're throwing it down lane. And now it is time for the Storm Proton Physics. We'll go over a couple of the stats here first, and then we'll kind of get into a little bit of analysis and comparison between the two bowling balls. So with the Proton Physics, the fragrance is Frosted Cupcake. I also like this fragrance. It smells really, really good, and can't get enough of it. Now anyways, we'll get into the core. So this is the Atomic Core. It has been used 11 times, with the newest installment to this line being the Infinite Physics. Obviously the first use of this core was with the original physics, and it is the 4th strongest core. Now the surface with the Proton Physics is actually the same as the Supernova, so it's got the NEX cover on it, same stats as before, like we mentioned. It's the 6th time that it's, or at this point it was used less than that. I think this was the 4th time that the NEX was used, first introduced with the Axiom. So this would have been the second or third time stateside that this NEX cover was used, and obviously, yes, it is the strongest cover that Storm uses. We have a 2000 box, same as the Supernova, RG, 2.48, differential of 0.53, and a PSA of 0.17. So technically there is less asymmetry with this bowling ball. However, the RG and the differential equates to this ball rolling a little earlier, and I think hopefully you guys are able to see that sort of in these videos here. That was a really good spare pickup, I will say so myself. But so when we dive into at least moving left here, hopefully you guys were able to see that with the earlier shots, but certainly with moving left here, you'll be able to see that the Proton Physics certainly does start up just a hair earlier. Now the Supernova, with how shiny this surface got on me, it wasn't great. Obviously with going through the oil, you'll be able to see that the Proton Physics rolled a little bit better once I was able to kind of go through the oil a little bit more. But the Proton Physics certainly rolled a little earlier. That might have something to do with how chalky the surface on my Proton Physics was. I've obviously resurfaced it quite a few times, and I think because of that my surface has certainly gotten a little chalky. So I would say the surface of the Proton Physics is definitely a lot more chalkier than what that Supernova was. However, that's not to say that both balls didn't roll well. I think they both rolled very, very well, but I think certainly the deeper that I got with the Proton Physics, the better the Proton Physics looks. If I had to stay right with the Supernova, I think I would rather choose the Supernova, because I was certainly able to kind of stay straighter. So I think both balls rolled well. I think, again, going inside, Proton Physics I would probably pick. If I were to move out, Supernova I would use for that. Alright guys, let's dive into the analysis kind of the Storm Supernova versus the Storm Proton Physics. Now, first impressions of the Supernova, I wasn't quite sold on it, to be honest. I got the ball, I threw it once, I was actually filming the review with the Night Road, and the Supernova just kind of squirted down the lane. It didn't really react the way I was anticipating, didn't really react the way I kind of was expecting it to. Now, I've had this happen with a couple different balls. I've had it happen with the Storm Codex a while back. I had it happen with, I think, the original Nova, but obviously if you've watched my What's in the Bags, you know that I absolutely love the original Nova. So I kind of started thinking about what I could do to try and get this Supernova to where I would like it. So I kind of hit it with some surface, I polished it up, and at one point I was just like, you know what, let's just resurface the entire ball, start from scratch, and see what happens. And I resurfaced the ball. I brought it up to 5,000, creating the difference 5,000 pad. And I actually really did begin to like the shape and the look of the Supernova. Now, I did, at the start of this review, I hit both balls with a fresh 2,000 pad that was wet. The Proton Physics is a little chalky, so the Proton Physics definitely did read the lanes a little earlier and was a little smoother overall than the Supernova. But again, I think that's just the characteristics of this Proton. I think my personal Proton is a little bit more chalky, so I think that's kind of where the differences were. However, I think overall, both balls are very, very similar. Supernova is a strong piece. It hooks a lot. Like I said, it reads fairly early. Like I said, the Proton might read just a hair earlier than the Supernova, but again, I think that's just my personal ball's characteristics. Now, if you do notice, this Supernova, like I said, I hit it with a fresh 2000 pad, and it looks fairly shiny right now. So the Supernova does shine up a little easier, I would say, than the Proton Physics. In return, when your ball kind of gets a really good lane shine to this, like this one does, you're going to have that ball kind of push down the lane a little further. It's not going to read as early. It's going to be a little bit more whippy, a little bit more snappy on the back end. Now, is that a bad thing? Probably not. It just depends on kind of what you're kind of looking for. For me, is the Supernova going to make my bag? Probably not, because I really, really, really like my Rotogrip Gem. I think that ball's going to stay in for a long time. Proton Physics would probably be second, and then the Supernova would be third. I just don't have enough bag space to fit that Supernova in. I'm not saying it's a bad ball. I think it's great. I think, if you're in the market for a big asymmetric heavy hooking ball, Supernova is going to be a great choice. If you don't like it at first, again, make sure you do the surface adjustments before you just kind of throw the ball out the window and say, I'm done with this. I think there's a lot of potential here. I think there's going to be a lot of bowlers that love it. Just make sure you work with it. Maybe try and tune in sort of that surface that you have. So again, this video is coming out a little bit late. So do you have a Supernova already in your bag? Are you going to get one? Let me know down in the comments down below. Up next is the Phase 5 and Electrify Gold and Orange. The Phase 5, I absolutely promise you're not going to want to miss that review of the Phase 5. I absolutely loved it. First night out of the bag for me was a 798 in league with that Phase 5. I cannot put into words how great that Phase 5 is. I'm going to talk this ball up for a long, long time. When this ball comes out, you're not going to want to miss it. You're going to want to get one. You're going to want to put it in your bag because this Phase 5 is incredible. So make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss that Phase 5 video. But until that Phase 5 video, guys, thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Good luck and good bowling.